and welcome back, sir, to our second episode of the series with you, Mr. Iskandar, one of our MMU Permata Dunia. So for our second episode, mainly we'll be focusing more on your work field, and I think we can start the question by asking how long you've been working in the company that you're working now.
Yeah, so I've been with Bank Islam for almost 4 years. Yeah, so by October ni, Alhamdulillah, I would have completed 4 years.
Alright, I think we need to know the reasons of you choosing the company that you're working right now.
Yeah, so Bank Islam, as many of you all will know, is an Islamic-based financial services institution. Yeah, so as a Muslim, we will want to work in an organization where Islamic values are upheld. So that's one of the primary reasons. The other reason would be obviously in terms of alignment of values and vision, right? So I am inspired by the strategy and as well as the transformation journey that the bank is currently undergoing, and I feel that I can contribute to that journey.
Okay, I think you should tell with us also and share with all the audiences, all the viewers, about the journey of you in order to get the position that you have as for now.
So the journey actually has been a very exciting one. Not necessarily an easy one, but very fulfilling in terms of the experience, the people I've met, some of the projects that I've had to deal with. So my first role was for apa yang kita panggil in today's term a startup. Yeah? So I graduated in IT, so I joined an IT startup. So it was very interesting. Dia dalam shop lot dekat Damansara Uptown, and it was very much an IT company. So kat situ I learned a lot of things, yeah, because in a startup company the number of resources tu tak ramai, yeah, in terms of the number of staff maksud saya. So we end up doing multiple things, multiple jobs, yeah. Programming pun saya buat, angkat PC pun saya buat, tukar lampu pun saya buat, yeah. Kemudian saya join Telekom Malaysia, so TM was my penaja lah during my studies dekat MMU. So Alhamdulillah, I had the opportunity to serve in the International Operations Division. Kat sana I have a lot of exposure, yeah, in terms of managing a team, dealing with culture from other countries, yeah, and also learning up on the technical part of it. Then Alhamdulillah, I managed to secure a role with Shell. Yeah, so this is where I made a critical transition, yeah, daripada IT and telecommunications type of background kepada HR. Yeah, so during my time in Telekom Malaysia, I had a lot of exposure in terms of dealing with people-related matters. And for me, I found that this area of HR ni was quite interesting and very exciting. So I wanted to explore a role in HR, but naturally it wasn't so easy sebenarnya, because kalau any employer yang kita tengok, dia kata siapa Iskandar ni, background dia IT in terms of qualification, experience work dia pun IT and then telecommunication, so why suddenly he's applying for HR roles? So it was not so easy, but Alhamdulillah, I had the opportunity given to me through a program in Shell Malaysia. So that was my entry into the HR world. It was a very steep learning curve for me to learn HR, but I was fortunate because Shell is a very big, very well-established global multinational, and so their HR practices are very advanced, very well-established. So that's where I learned a lot, and I also had the benefit of leaders in Shell who helped guide and coach me along the way. So from Shell, I wanted to explore a different industry. Yeah, so being in HR ni, I have the advantage yang mana I can try a different industry. Yeah, sebab semua industri pun, semua jenis company pun perlukan HR, kan. Jadi I have a chance to join Maybank during that time. Maybank was undergoing a very exciting part of their journey. It was undergoing a transformation as well. So I joined Maybank, yeah, and kat sana I learned a lot. Yeah, I managed to get my hands dirty with many different types of transformative type of projects. Kemudian I was also looking for an opportunity where I can learn to to manage a CEO directly ataupun manage board of directors directly. Yeah, so that opportunity came about with HSBC Amanah. Yeah, so I joined HSBC Amanah as its head of HR. And kemudian there was another opportunity for a director of HR role dekat Al-Rajhi Bank, yang mana it gave me a lot of other additional experience in terms of managing a full-fledged HR function. Then Alhamdulillah, the opportunity for Bank Islam came about, where it's bigger in terms of number of staff compared to Al-Rajhi. So Bank Islam has about 5,000 employees. So it brings a different dynamics to it. So the journey from the start, it has been incremental in terms of the type of experience that I will gain. Yeah? So for each move that I made through, there was a lot of learning. It was very stretching in terms of the capabilities that I needed to learn quickly, and you know, it has been a very fulfilling journey.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Next, I think we need to disclose to the viewers also about your biggest achievement so far in your work field.
Yeah, so I think in the field of HR, the role that I play and the role that my team plays will directly impact somebody's life, right? So I feel that in itself, you know, if I'm able to impact somebody's lives positively, definitely that is a very big achievement for me. But you know, like I mentioned, in many of the organizations that I've been at, I've had first-hand direct experience in managing many of the transformation work, yeah, for the HR-related matters. So a lot of the transformation work, sebenarnya the critical success factor is the people. Yeah, so being able to build the right capabilities, the right competencies, to organize the team in a way that can support the strategy. So there are many transformation initiatives, including the vision and the strategy that Bank Islam has today, and I'm very happy to be able to shape the bank's workforce, the bank's capability to try and achieve Bank Islam's Leap 25 aspirations, and also all our transformation program.
Alright, okay. We move on to the last one. Okay, since you did mention that you've been working with the same and also different field with your studies, so can you share with us how was it working in the same field with your studies and also a different field with your studies?
Yeah, so my studies was completely different from what I'm working today. So it serves for a very interesting conversation. Because people will see, again, like I mentioned, IT graduate, but in the field of HR, right? So this is where, pada I, if you look at it, our rezeki is never a straight path, right? The journey that we take may not be, in a very sequential way. It can come in various ways. So in my case, I was led to a path where I studied something quite different. But it was very useful because in IT we learn certain methodologies, yeah, in terms of software development, for example. That helped to shape my thought process and way of working to follow a certain methodology, which I can very much incorporate, yeah, walaupun I'm working in the HR field, yeah. So walaupun very different, tetapi some of the fundamentals that I've gotten from my study field is also very much applicable today.
Okay, so I think it is quite interesting since we will be focusing on your family background. Okay, I believe that you have already married, right? So, can you share with us how did you met your wife and maybe a brief background about your love story with your wife?
So, when I was working with Telekom Malaysia, I had the opportunity to further my studies on a part-time basis, where I did a Masters of Business Administration. So while we are working ni, I need to find a program that is part-time and suits the schedule, yeah, yang mana the classes on weekends ataupun in the evenings, right? So I signed up for a program with University Utara Malaysia. They have a part-time program. So I started this MBA program, G2UM, which happens over the weekends primarily. Yeah. So in Malay they say sambil menyelam minum air. So I happened to borrow the notes of a fellow classmate, yeah, and somehow from being a classmate, now Alhamdulillah has become my wife of 15 years.
Alright, so can you tell with us also how many kids do you have, and also can you share with us a bit about your children?
Okay. Alhamdulillah, I am blessed with 4 children. Yeah. My eldest daughter is 14, and so I have 3 daughters, and the youngest one, the 4th one, is a boy. He's 3 years old.
Oh, okay. So with that, I think you should share with us about the activities during your leisure time with your family.
So I mean, whatever free time I have too is memang for the family lah. Normally we spend time with the children. So my weekend activity too is driving them for wherever that we want to go. Sometimes they have their class, for example, so I will send them to their class. We spend time over meals, kan? Or we spend time at our family, my parents' house ataupun my in-laws' house. Tapi whatever activity that I do is, always with them, swimming ke, any games ke, riadah over the weekend tu memang is mainly spent with the family.
Okay, we move on to the next question. Can you share with us maybe like your expectations toward your children?
Okay, so I hope that my children grow up to be resilient, yeah, because having gone through working life, I see that there is a lot of challenges, yeah, and one of the traits which I feel is necessary for someone to be successful is resilience, yeah, yang mana you are able to overcome challenges. So I wish and I pray that they are able to build strength. I wish and I pray that they, in whatever actions that they do, that it is anchored to values, and obviously those values are one that is linked to our Islamic values, insyaAllah.
That's it, and it's a wrap for this episode of MMU Alumni Vibes 2023 with Mr. Iskandar. On behalf of the Center for Alumni of Multimedia University, I would like to say thank you so much to all the viewers for staying with us throughout all episodes of this series. Ladies and gentlemen, it was an honor to have you guys as my lovely viewers for this time. I'm Muhammad Faris Fikrami Muhammad, signing off, and have a good day.